Welcome back. Well, we have Jessica Cha here, who is a candidate for Orange County Superior Judge. Well, welcome. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And you know, there's an awful lot to learn about what it takes to be a judge. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about your experience and background.
Well, I'm a local girl. I grew up here actually in Laguna Hills and graduated from Laguna Hills High School. And I went to school at UC San Diego and went to law school in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
Did a couple years or a few years in DC. I worked for a judge and I was also a federal government attorney.
Okay.
But currently, and what I've been doing for the majority of my career is actually family law. So I'm a certified family law specialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you run into an awful lot of interesting things with family law, and that covers quite a gamut of different types of things. Tell me some of the challenges that you had with that and some successes.
Well, I think family law in and of itself is a pretty challenging practice area. I know many lawyers, will cringe when I tell them I'm a family law attorney, because it is emotionally. There's a lot high emotions, and oftentimes there's children involved. There's money. Whether it be a small amount, but it's absolutely necessary to large amount. There's also that domestic violence also falls under family law.
Yeah.
So I think really the challenge for any family law attorney is to be able to kind of understand where the client is coming from and really guide that energy to finding a legal solution for their problems. Because at the end of the day, I say that in family law, there's no winners and losers. Because by the time they've reached family court, like things are not great.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
And like you said, there's an awful lot of emotions, possibly a lot of anger.
Yes.
People
Yes.
can be very, very upset.
Yeah.
So that is certainly, I'm sure, a challenge. So how would you apply the experience that you have had to the Orange County Superior Judge?
Well, I think that being a judge requires a great deal of interpersonal skill, like interactions, because you're seeing hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
And your docket, depending on your assignment, can be almost 100 people a day. And so if you are not used to interfacing with members of the public on a regular basis, from innocuous issues to really serious issues, I think that could maybe present a challenge, because while you are there to listen to the facts and apply the law, there also has to be a certain amount of understanding and compassion of the people who's, or the person who's coming before you.
Right,
Yeah.
and I would imagine that your experience and what you mentioned would help you with that type of compassion.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's a skill set that's developed. I didn't go into family law, being able to manage this level of conflict, but it's definitely something that I've learned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, I know there's an awful lot of open seats for judges this time around, and what do you hope, what are your hopes for judges going forward?
Well, I'd like to see judges that are more reflective of our community in terms of diversity. I would also really like to see more judges on the bench that have a depth and breadth of experience aside from prosecutors or a prosecutorial background.
Okay.
We have 9 open seats and we have 24 candidates. So I think it's time that we start electing judges that have a family law background, such as I do.
So what would be the difference? So you said it may not be as appropriate to have prosecutors. What's the difference?
So, our courts handle a wide range of matters. Small claims, traffic, civil, criminal, family, probate, dependency, juvenile. So I think it's about 70% of the cases are non-criminal. But my understanding is that more than 50% of our judges are former prosecutors. So, we've got a fantastic bench, and the work that prosecutors do, I think, is essential to keeping our communities safe. But I think it also, gives you a fairly specific viewpoint and way of thinking when it comes to a case. And as I said, in family law, there are no winners and losers, well, at least very rarely.
Yeah.
And, same thing in probate and guardianship. These are very, very fact specific. And sometimes you have to find, creative solutions to get to justice. So I think that's really where the difference, lies.
So you have a huge transition to go from your current position to being a judge. Will you be giving up being a lawyer to be the judge?
Yeah, so once you become a judge, you have to either leave the firm that you are with or close out your own practice.
I see.
Yeah, and so I would be doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. You never know. We don't know really that much about judges. I don't think we really learned that much about it, although I think we have certainly learned an awful lot about it because of the campaigning everyone has been doing. So I think that's a great thing for us. Let's talk a little bit about your campaign. What are some of the issues you're running on?
Well, again, I think we need more diversity. We need more women. And we need more diverse experience.
Okay.
And I believe I fit all of those categories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are there any women judges right now?
There are. I counted about 150 total judges.
Okay.
But about 33 or 30 some odd female judges.
Okay.
So it's just over 25%.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually not that bad.
Yes.
But I suppose it's who you talk to.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, anything else that I might have missed?
I think one of the important takeaways from this judicial campaign is really how important it is to vote for judges. Because, as voters, we can vote from, city council, water board, school board, all the way up to the President of the United States. But when it comes to judges, voters have very little say, except at the Superior Court level. So to the extent that, we have an opportunity to really, evaluate the candidates and determine, who best fits, our values and what we're looking for in a judge, I really encourage people to vote. Yeah.
Well, right, and that's coming up on June 7th, which is right around the corner.
Yes.
And of course, most people probably have received their ballots. And, there's an awful lot of people on these ballots. Like you said, there's an awful lot running, 24 of them.
Yes.
And so they need to learn all about each one.
I would highly recommend that. It is the largest race that nobody really knows about, but because there are so many seats right now, I think more and more people are becoming aware.
Yeah.
And I do believe that we're going to see this again in maybe the next election cycle or possibly more than one, because we do have a lot of judges who are going to be retiring. So historically, we've only had a handful of seats, maybe anywhere from 1 to 4, but I think we're going to start seeing some more in the future election cycles.
Well, exactly. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the information and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. If you want more information about what we've just discussed, you could always go to jessicachawforjudge.com. We'll be right back.